Today, we are going to be talking about export settings for Lightroom so that you can have high resolution images and you can also have images that are really well set up to go on a blog post. So you'll have really great SEO because the images will load pretty fast. So let's go into Lightroom. So within the library module, we will see our images here and we can either press a folder where we can press Command A to select just those images in that folder. Or if you want to select all of the images from a wedding, you can do that as well by having all of them selected. I would personally go in and export them from each folder so that you can put that folder's name within the file name. So you'll see that in a second. So when we are in that folder, I will press Command A to select all of those images, and then I will go down and press Export. And then I want to make sure that I am exporting them to the right place. So I export them to my external hard drive, and then I put them in a specific client's folder. So I'll choose that, and then I will call this folder, which I'll have clicked here, put in subfolder. I'll have that as Bride and Groom because that is my folder there. And then I will go into the file naming and I will make sure that it has my business name. It has any venues that we were at, and I typically have Washington, D.C. wedding photographer so that people will see that that's where I'm located. So if you are in a specific city or state that you want to market to, make sure you have that in your file name. Then I have the client name, and then I have the folder name. So I will make sure that says Bride and Groom. And then you can add the sequence here, which I have. So it starts with number 1. Let's go back here. So you can also insert the file name if you wanted to. You could insert the date that your camera captured. So I just have the sequence there going. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I'm done. And so the most important thing here for making sure it is a high resolution image is I have it as a JPEG with RGB. Then I have it set to 300 resolution. I do not have it resized. That'll be different for a blog post. So this is all we need to do to export this folder as high resolution images. So if I were exporting maybe my highlight folder as my blog post images, I would press Command A to select all of those and then press Export. And now I'm going to change up some things because I want to make sure these images work really, really well for a website. So I have a blog that is hosted by WordPress, and so they specifically want us to have images no more than 1200 pixels. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to not highlight, but blog post. And I can change the file name here if I really want to, like highlights or blog post or whatever. And I'll press done. And so really the biggest thing here is you want to change resolution to 72. And then I'm going to resize it to fit. So I'm going to have the long edge. So whatever is the longest edge, whether it's, a horizontal image, this is the long edge. Portrait, this is the long edge. I'm going to change that so that it's 1200 pixels on the long edge. So it won't resize the image to make it look wonky. It'll still look like the accurate ratio of the image. But the longest edge will be 1200 pixels, 72 resolution. And that way, when we go to load those images to a blog post, they're already ready to go. You don't have to resize them in a different software. And you can really load those images so fast on a blog post, which gives you better SEO, better client or viewer experience on your blog post. And it just makes blogging a lot easier. So let me know if you have any other questions about exporting. It's really pretty simple once you do it a couple of times, but it is important to make sure that you know how to make those images super high resolution for the client gallery, and so that you can have images set to go on a blog post so your blog post will look smooth as they scroll. One last thing I wanted to mention here actually for blog posts was you can sharpen them for screen and a lot of people just press standard here. You can play with that. I do know a lot of photographer friends that like to have their images sharpened for web, but if your style is like super creamy, then maybe you don't want to do that. Feel free to play around with that. That's kind of up to your discretion, sharpening for screen, but that is a really great option if you do want your blog images sharp, crisp, as people are scrolling on them. Let me know if you have any other questions about exporting. I hope that this was helpful and it really makes that process super easy. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so that you can see all of the rest of these Lightroom tips. We have a lot more to cover together, and I'm excited about all that is to come. And I will see you in the next video.